All right, it looks like we are live. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, sure. Let me know if you can see it over there on your end.
I see it. Got it.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome everyone. Listen, we had a few we had a few technical difficulties today, but you know what? We're not gonna worry about that. It's 2021. And although it's trying to act like 2020, we're not here for it. So we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it moving. And I'm excited to have you all in this new year. I'm excited to be back with you. We took a little break for the holiday season to recharge and rest up and reignite. And so now we're back. First, well, not first week of the year, but second week of the year. But it's still the new year, y'all. And so I'm excited to be back with you, especially for season 2. I feel so blessed to be able to come back for another season, especially given a lot of the feedback that you all have shared with me over last year's season. Just wonderful feedback about how you have enjoyed the real, honest, and transparent conversations that took place, the dynamic women that I brought to you who just poured from their heart. And so I felt like this, in this season, in season 2, I really wanted to focus the conversation around what we all have experienced a little bit, and that's failing forward. I really want us as women to start normalizing the fact that the way we show up in our success is from what we learn in our failures. And there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. So I think the more we talk about it, I don't want to hear what made you successful. I want to hear the secret sauce. Well, I already know what the secret sauce is. The secret sauce is you. So I don't even need to ask you that. But what really helps me learn, I don't know about you, but what really has helped me learn from my own experiences and even from other women in business and other mompreneurs is when I have seen how they've been able to pick themselves up by their bootstraps after something didn't go the way they intended, or something flopped, something failed, but they were able to take that and turn that thing around. And that's actually how I've been able to learn some of my best lessons, some of the best experiences that I've had. And so I think it is something incredible for us as women to say, yes, I failed, and let me show you how. And here's where I am, here's where I am now because of it. I read a quote the other day that said, the more I failed, the more I started to figure out the things that worked. The more I started to figure out how to do it better. And I just thought that was excellent for such a time as this. So without further ado, I do want to jump in to my guest of honor today, because number one, let me just say I've known her for such a long time. Y'all, today I was opening up Facebook, and you know how Facebook does. It shows you all the memories of things that have happened. Sometimes you're like, okay, thank you. And sometimes you're like, okay, I really didn't need to see that, but thanks. But I was really excited to see and surprised to see that on this exact same day, this young lady and I were in the midst of getting ready for her signature event, which was Getting Serious. And it was a health and wellness expo that she put on for I want to say 5-6 years. Is that right?
9.
Oh Lord, don't let me sell you short today. Okay. 9 years. And it was such an amazing event. But I say all that to say, it also showed me how long I have known her. I was just like, oh my God, it was like 2014. And here we are in 2021. And I still have been able to, admire and witness her journey as she's continued to evolve. And so no wonder why the name of, or the title of our conversation today is The Power in Starting Again. The power of starting again. Because guys, I'm telling you, there is power in starting again. And part of it is seeing your own evolution over the time that you start again, right? So I'm excited to have Dr. Chere, let me get it right. Dr. Chere Goode with me today, who is the owner of, or founder of Total Harmony Enterprises. And so, Chere, welcome, 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 welcome.
Having me. Thank you. Good to be with you again.
Yes, I know, right? Again. I feel like our paths have always connected or intertwined in some kind of way. And I just love, lady, how you have continued to just show up, especially in the health and wellness space, and have continued to show us how to treat us well, because we don't always do that.
Absolutely. It's important. If we're not loving ourselves, we're not pampering ourselves and treating ourselves well, nothing else in our world will be successful. So it's definitely imperative that we perform self-care and worry about our health and wellness on a daily basis.
Yes, yes, that is so true. And I'm on my self wellness journey right now as we speak, being mindful and really just learning that inner wellness, which wasn't always valued for me. So I can appreciate that so much. So let's dive in, because I know we got a lot to cover in. Oh Lord, how long is this? 40 minutes? So we got lots to cover, y'all. So just stick with us, keep tracking with us, okay? So 2020, guys, I want to take it there for a minute. It was a profound year, to say the least, for a number of reasons. But it was also a year of loss, a year of loss for many of us. And that can look and be shaped differently depending on who you are. It could have been, that you lost plans, things that you had planned for 2020, goals that you had planned for 2020. It could be financial, maybe you lost money in business endeavors, or even on the personal side. For some of you, it may have actually been even more extreme, and you may have actually lost a loved one or a life, or somebody, that you care about. And so coming into 2021, the new year for me always signifies kind of this new beginning, right? We organically get excited about the new year because we feel like it's a fresh start. We feel like there's like renewed purpose, all of these things that signify that it's a new year. But this year, I will say, rolling into 2021 has felt a little bit different. I can't say, while I still felt some of that newness, I also still felt like 2021 was kind of this run-on sentence, right? You writing a sentence and you like, oh, there should have been a period there, but no, it just kept going, And so I kind of felt like 2021 was like that too, or has been like that too, in that there has not been closure yet, And so, Chere, I really want to start right there, because I know that for you, some of that loss, or a big, profound part of that loss, was in the loss of your son.
Yes. And I'm going to try my best to keep it together today.
Listen, we're here to be real. Y'all know me. I tell you all the time, this is real women making real change and getting real. And so I mean that from the heart of my heart. Y'all have already seen us tear up last year. We did some tearing up. We did some cussing. Look, we did it all. And we did it all together.
We got our tissues just in case.
Okay, right here. We came ready. But I do want to talk about Jordan for a moment, because I will say, just even in my own heart of hearts when I saw that. It really got to my core. I've had the pleasure of meeting your son at, some of the expos. He's always there helping you set up, and just, and being that son that sons are to their mom, making sure that you got what you need, right? And so I just want to talk about how that loss has really impacted you in 2020.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Woo. Talking about,
Oh,
woo.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you
it's a
like
lot.
rock to your core.
Yeah,
So, we all been through stuff. I've written my book about the crash that altered my life, and
yeah,
tragic divorce and things like that. But nothing ever, ever can prepare you for the loss of a child.
yeah.
And the best way to describe it for someone who never ever has gone through that, because I wouldn't have even known how to describe it before going through it,
Right.
would be feels like somebody gut punched you and you can't catch your wind. You can't get your breath back. No matter how hard you try,
Yeah.
you can't get your breath back because a big chunk of you now is gone. And so every day is kind of like just trying to find your way.
Yeah.
Just trying to like, who am I now?
Right.
Just
Right.
literally waking up and feeling like, okay, what's my purpose now? So you're a mom of boys, and
Mm,
we pour out all as moms. We pour everything into our kids.
our kids.
So
Yeah.
anyone who knew me and my relationship with my sons, like people that didn't even know Jordan, felt like they knew him because I posted everything of his whole life on my
Like
page.
we do, right? We so excited that they did.
Yeah,
They made their first step. They went to the bathroom. We like, look.
yeah, being that proud mom, for both of my sons. But Jordan
Yeah.
was more the athlete, and so as he grew up and found himself, he was more on my page more than even my oldest son was because he was just doing too much. And so, to get that call when I
Yeah.
had just seen him that morning,
Mm.
and to know that I just literally let him from underneath my wing. He had just moved out 2 weeks before he passed.
Wow.
So to even, for a mom, you get that empty nesters, but I was different. I was like, I'm excited. I get the house to myself. I was fixing up my Zen space. I was like,
Right.
this to your room, I'm gonna do that. So I was excited and
Yes.
also excited for the journey that he was on, for his
Yeah.
own life. And just to get that call that night, I didn't believe it because the call that I got was from his friends who were
What
behind
was your
him.
first reaction when when you got that call? Because I want to say, I think every mom at some point has probably thought about it, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
you especially as your kids get older. I tell people all the time, I can't even imagine once your kids are older and they're just free to float about the universe or the world as they should. But there's something about us moms that can't help but, still think about and pray about the fact that, please, Lord, you know, keep my kids safe, or just don't let anything happen. So,
And that was that was always my prayer, like protect
right,
because he was such a successful young man that jealousy can set in with even amongst
sure,
friends and things.
sure,
And then Jordan was pretty flashy dresser and things like that. He drove a Mercedes. I mean, like the boy, he had it going on at such a young age. And
yeah,
my fear as a mom and my prayer was please protect him from somebody doing something to him.
yeah,
Never in a million years thinking that it would be a crash that would happen
right,
in his life.
right, an
So I
accident,
was
yeah,
praying. No, no, no kidding.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, I was praying protect him in these streets because we're in the outskirts of Baltimore.
yeah,
He was going to Morgan State, which is in Baltimore City. So my
right,
fear was that something would happen to him, maybe somebody trying to rob him, something like that.
right,
Never thinking that I was going to get a call saying that he crashed and so close to home. So that's another thing we'll talk about. But like
yeah,
he's so close to home that's a roadway that I have to take every single day. So
Jesus,
it's not like it's a thing where I could just dismiss it out of my mind. Every
right,
day I have to take that road and remember
and it
seeing his
reminds you,
body on that road. So I
right,
actually went to the accident scene where he crashed and saw his lifeless body on the road. And I can still, literally see his white tennis shoes.
mm,
That's one thing that used to keep me up at night in the beginning, was just seeing his white tennis shoes and him laying there.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on you. You never. We're nurturers. We're parents. We're moms.
Right.
We're mother hens. We
Right. Look, bears when we gotta be.
There was just nothing. There was nothing I could do to save him at that point. And I got that call. He had just left friends. He had just had fun at the arcade, and he had gotten a motorcycle, which I wasn't even aware of. He had only had the motorcycle literally for 4 days, y'all. 4 days.
Oh
4 days he had gotten the motorcycle. So his friends were following him. They were going back to one of their friends' houses to just have some fun.
Yeah.
One was ahead of him. One of his friends was behind him. But the friend behind him never even knew that he crashed. They saw a car with flashers on and thought there was a car that just broke down. They didn't even realize he had crashed. They found out that he had crashed.
So the car that was flashing had stopped to help him?
It and stopped. Yeah. And the only reason they even knew he was still on 795, which is the beltway that leads to our home, is they pinged his phone and it said 795. So they knew something wasn't right and got back. But by the time they got back, everything had already happened.
Yeah.
I do thank God every day that he did not suffer.
Yeah.
I don't impact.
Yeah.
I actually got the autopsy. As a nurse, we want to know it all. Other mothers be like, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what was that injury that killed my baby. He did have several head injuries, and his cervical spine had dislocated.
Oh.
So it just confirmed that he did not suffer. I just needed to know my child didn't suffer.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah. The last thing you want to know is that that he suffered. Not only is he gone, but that he suffered in the process.
Yeah. And so I got the call from his friend saying, Miss Chere, Jordan's gone. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I'm not believing it. I just pin curled my hair. I was getting into bed to do work on the computer. And I was like, where are you? Let me get up. And I just like threw clothes on top of my pajamas and I went out the door. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Don't drive, Chere. Someone just told me stop. And I'm like,
because you're full of emotion. You're still trying to process.
Yeah. And I'm still on the phone with his friend. And I'm like, let me speak to a paramedic. Let me speak to somebody. Let me speak to an officer. Who's there with you? I'm asking all these questions. Of course, they're not going to tell me anything on the phone. In the meantime, I called my girlfriend and told her to come and get me. She was taking too long, so I started to drive there. And then she came flying up the road, was like, pull over, get out of the car.
Right.
And so she took me.
Thank goodness for great friends and family, for sure.
When I tell you by this time the beltway's locked down. Yeah. So we're driving on the side of the dirt. I'm like, I don't care how you got to do it. Drive this car.
Get me there. That's right.
Here, and we get to like 3 miles before where his actual accident scene is. And so my girlfriend and I got out and we literally ran 3 miles to get to the scene. I am not a runner, let me tell you. But the adrenaline, when you think something is wrong with your baby.
Yeah, kicks in.
And when I got there, the officer, he met me and he said, I'm sorry, he's gone. And I just fell to the ground. That's all I remember, is falling to the ground. And that was it. But it was like so many kids had already, because his friends already knew what happened, they were calling everybody else. When I tell you there was like an assembly or a convention at the scene, they were all, and the officer's like, Miss, you got to get these people to leave. I'm like, they're not going to leave until I leave. I'm telling you, you're not going to leave.
Right.
But
the power of a community, we talk about community so much, but, and sometimes it can, sound like it's a catchphrase, but the power of there is nothing like it, when you know that you have others that can be the wind, under your wings, when you can't even pull it together, and I saw how, people rallied around you and your family. And I just thought it was a beautiful thing. Yeah. I was prayerful that you did experience, that outpouring of love, because you needed it at that time, and it's, I know it's been a journey. And so I wanna kind of move us into, how you, as a mom, coming through the rest of 2020, but now into 2021, I've seen you as you have, been very transparent and very authentic, I will say, about the ebbs and flows of your day, how some days it's like, okay, I got it together. I'm gonna go out here and conquer this, slay this dragon. But then some days it's like, y'all, I'm barely making it, you know. And I want to just impress upon you how admirable that is, because you don't have to share.
Right.
You don't have to, you choose to. And I think that in doing that, you're showing the world how you start again, the power of starting again, and also the process of healing. So how have you started, how did you kind of get yourself to that place? If you can even, verbalize it, because I know it probably has been like a whirlwind, but how did you kind of get yourself to that place where you said, okay, I gotta keep moving. Like, I can't just stay here. It's easy for us to want to stay right there in the thick of it, in the grief, and not to say that it's gone anywhere, but it's easy to just want to stay there. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, first of all, when you lose a loved one, you don't even have time really to grieve, honestly. You know, literally my twin sister, Cheryl Wood.
Yes,
She did
shout out to
everything.
Cheryl.
Like when I tell you, like
y'all are amazing.
She was my clone, because I wasn't functioning. I was just like, they tried to give me medicine to sleep. I didn't sleep, like literally for the first month. I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I was walking around. But when you lose someone, you don't even have time to even like adjust, because now it's like, okay, when's the funeral? Okay, we need this, we need that. So you're still functioning, and you're rolling and you're rocking. You don't even have a chance to even breathe.
Yeah. You're just kind of on autopilot, like just doing.
And fortunately, I had my twin power, my twin sister, Cheryl Wood, that was like, I got you. Just tell me what your wishes are, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And so we were able to lay my son to rest so beautifully.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, she was like everything. They joked at it about, they joked about it at the funeral. They was like, yeah, your sister, she's doing everything. She's even doing security. She's doing, literally, she did everything.
That's what you do for family, sure.
Yeah, but I'm so eternally grateful. And like, we think alike. So things that I wouldn't remember, or things, she literally would pick up the pieces and be like, I know this is what has to be done.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll give my blessing. Yeah, do it, girl, do whatever. Because I know you're gonna make it right. So a lot of people don't have that. So I value that piece in itself. Right. My sister literally left her family and came and just like camped out at my house. Like she's like, I'm not leaving my sister. And I needed that. I needed somebody just to be like right there with me, that was a mom. Like a dad will understand.
So she could understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Is her own. So like somebody who really knew, like, and our feelings are so intertwined because we're twins.
Yeah.
That like my pain is her pain. We call each other sometimes. We know the other one's not feeling well. Yeah. We just have that kind of intuition and feeling that we feel each other's pain. So she knew what I was going through. I still joke now. I laugh about it now, but she used to always come up when I was like really having a breakdown, and she would be squeezing me, but she's humping, like, and I'm like, you're humping me, you humping me. I'm gonna laugh because I'm like, why are you humping me? But she was like, oh, and she was squeezing me and hugging me. And I'm like, you're humping me.
Listen, that's okay.
Yeah, but when I would really break down, but that was her way of like, look, I got you. If you fall, I got you.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I got you.
Like, people wouldn't let me, they weren't gonna let me stay down.
If you fall, that's right.
When you talk about community, like the community came through, like,
yeah.
When I community, I'm telling you, I wasn't worried about what my family was gonna eat. I wasn't worried about the house being clean. I wasn't worried about anything.
And you shouldn't have been, because you just needed to take care of you. Yeah. Like, that's all that you could and I wanna equate this to what some may have struggled with, even if it wasn't a loss of a life. Maybe it was other loss. But when you experience loss, I think that's a profound thing that we got to understand, is that when you experience loss, sometimes all you can do is take care of you.
Yep. That is so true.
And
then just like literally every single day was just, I'm like, okay, all right, I woke up today.
Yeah.
And the problem I think that most people have with trying to heal from any type of loss is that we don't want to go through it to get through it. We want to rush the process.
Yes.
We want to rush the process. We want to fight the process. We want to act like we're so stoic and we're heroic and nothing hurt us and oh, I'll get over it. No, allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you feel at that moment. And that was what I was determined and still determined to do.
Yeah.
Like if I want to cry, I don't care. I could be in the middle of giant.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And if something reminds me of him or I get overcome by emotion, I cry.
Yeah. Yes.
And I just get, and if somebody might say, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'll be fine.
Right.
You know, like because sometimes.
Right. But I need to get this out.
You need to get it out. When you pin it up, it just prolongs the process.
Yeah.
It prolongs your healing.
Yes.
So just every single day, I allow myself grace, mercy. I allow myself to feel whatever it is that I feel.
Yeah.
Minute to minute.
Yeah.
Even I was working as a nurse, I do hospice care. So of course I go right back to work. So I started off for like a little over 3 months. And again, that was thankful to the community. They, you know, the outpouring of donations and things like that. Stay home longer. Because they really only give you 3 days.
Which is crazy.
Absurd, right?
I'm like, you lose somebody and you're supposed to be like, okay, I'm ready to jump back in 3 days.
We hadn't even had the funeral in 3 days.
Right.
So like, are you kidding me? So you can use your leave time after that. So then you exhaust everything that you have. And so you're sitting here looking, you know, you're looking like, okay, how am I gonna pay these bills? How am I gonna do this? And I'm still grieving. So, I mean, fortunately I have a job where like, when I'm having one of those days, I'm like, I just can't do it today. Yeah. So give me a lighter load or something like that. Yeah. Keep me, you know, and then I just do my work and then I come home. So fortunately I have a manager that understands, and I have some really caring, you know, staff members who they know, they're like, you okay today? You know, like they know me because they know I'm normally bubbly and upbeat. Right. If I'm having that moment, they allow me that moment, or they'll call me.
Exactly. So
that's what I think.
And I think that's a part of, you know, a part of the community as well. Like your job sometimes is a part of your community because you need your employer to understand. Like if, like you said, if I'm having a bad day or I just can't, you know, make it happen, then I need you to understand, especially after experiencing, you know, that type of loss. So
and not letting anybody put a time frame on your healing experience.
Right.
So
that's a great point.
The world doesn't stop. Like even after Jordan died. Yeah. Even after everybody's there for the funeral, but then after the funeral is over and the burial's over,
everybody goes home.
Then everybody goes home and they go on about their life, and you're sitting here stuck like, what in the world am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So I think just allowing yourself as much time as you need to heal from whatever it is, whether it's loss, your physical loss from like losing someone in death or whatever type of loss that it is, all these tips apply to any type of loss. But making sure that you like, especially like shift your way of thinking. Stop thinking you have to please everybody else and make sure you are whole, like mentally. Like my memory was shot after my son died. Like I'm still, my memory is still coming back to me. It's only been 4 months.
Right. Well, it's true. And that's the crazy thing is like, I'm sure in your mind, it probably does not feel that way. You know, I'm like 4 months is not that long. I'm like, it's not that long. You know what I mean? But I'm sure in your mind, every day probably feels longer because you're the one experiencing it, you know, and still working through that healing process. So I agree with you, you know, no matter what type of loss you're experiencing, you have to make sure that you stop and focus on you, you know, because your mental health, your physical health, it all depends on you really focusing on you, and then don't allow anyone, including yourself, to put a time frame on your healing process. You know, you do need to start healing, but you know how long that is for each person is going to look and be different. So, you know, there is no time clock. And I feel like, Chere, coming into 2021, you know, we also kind of at a national level, we're seeing, you know, all of this upheaval as we head into inauguration day. And so I also feel like kind of symbolically, while January 1 may not have been, it was traditionally the start of a new year, but I think for many of us, it was really, like I said, that run-on sentence. So I feel like really maybe our start again, even on a national scale, might be really on January 20th,
Right.
because, we'll have some transitioning happening,
Mhm.
as a country, and we'll start to be in a place where we maybe can heal as a country. And so I say all that to say, even for us, we looked at January 1st as, okay, no, we should be better by now, right? Because this is the new year. But it's like, no, we don't get to decide that just because it's the new year that now everything must magically snap into place. We're still here, and so hopefully January 20th will be that point in which we can start that healing process. But with you starting that healing process, I want you to share what are some things, and also because you are in the health and wellness space, you talk a lot about recharging, and again, I've seen you start to kind of walk in that space of recharging and starting again. So what has the starting again part started to look like for you professionally and personally?
It definitely had to be a mindset shift.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, everything starts in the mind. It's the way you think about things. So instead of me continuing to just be sad, okay, Jordan's gone, your son is gone, you lost your son. If I stayed in that space, then there would be no recovery. There would be no healing. There wouldn't be any recharging. So I had to have a determination mindset. I had to be determined that, look, you're going to be okay. And that's where that self-talk started coming in. Like, sometimes I talk to myself, y'all, and it's okay.
That's okay.
Answer myself. I don't answer myself, but I do talk to myself. And I say,
and if you answer yourself, I think that's okay too.
But, I'm like, okay, you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And I start to reason, like, if Jordan was still here in the flesh for your selfish purposes, he probably wouldn't be the same with the head injuries. That would not be quality of life for him. He would not have wanted to live like that.
Right.
Being the go-getter that he was, being the athlete that he was.
Athlete,
and being the person that he was that encouraged everybody else. I had to start shifting my mindset, saying, you know what? God knows better than I do. I want him here selfishly in the flesh, but if he was here, would he even still be whole? Would he still be the same person that he was? And 9 times out of 10, he wouldn't, with the injuries that I saw. And then just every day, like, surrounding myself with positive thoughts, positive affirmations. There's a book right now that I got so many books. When I tell you, like, anybody who sent me a book, I will get you them. But to sit down and read is very hard for me right now. And I recognize what space I'm in right now. But that will come in time. But there's one book that I can just flip open and read a quote and close it. It's Shattered, Surviving the Loss of a Child. I got that from a support group that I joined called BOS. So it's Bridge of Support.
Okay.
So it's for parents who lost children.
Lost a child.
So I gravitated to that immediately, to have some type of support, like somebody that really knows what you're feeling. Because like other people, I know, I lost my mother. I'm like, no, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. You got to remember, you carried this child in you for 9 months.
Yes.
You were attached by an umbilical cord.
Yes.
When that's cut, that does not cut the ties with that person or that child. They are part of you forever. And so I've even heard some of the parents even describe it as feeling birth pains on the anniversary of that child's death. I haven't got there yet because it's only been 4 months, but they said don't be surprised. Like, sometimes you may think you're doing really, really well, and then you have this breakdown. And I've experienced it. I'm like, okay, you're doing good. You rolling, you rock and rolling. And then it could be one memory or one picture or something that just reminds me. And then I feel like I'm falling apart all over again. But then the next day I get up and I have determination mindset.
Come on now.
And I say, look, you okay? You're gonna you're gonna get through this.
Yes.
I'm not gonna put more on you than what you're able to, to bear.
Yeah.
And still have, like, my sister calls me every day. Every single day. Like, she was like, and she has her moments still because she's very close, and she's
very close.
She was very close to Jordan. That was her baby too. Both of my babies, and she calls and she's like, I was just here, I was there, and I just broke down, and we'll talk. I let her vent, she lets me vent. We cry on the phone together.
Right.
It's still so unreal. It's still unbelievable. So there are stages to grief, and everybody's stage is not going to be in the order that maybe it's textbook.
Right.
Allow yourself to feel every single phase, every wave, every roller coaster ride that you want to go through. Feel it all. Because then you'll truly be healed. And you can't be anything to anybody else until you are truly healed.
Healed. Yeah.
So I made 2021, I created the 4 H's for 2021. Hope, health, healing, and happiness.
I
Those are
love
the four
that. Say it
H's.
again.
Hope, health, healing,
Healing,
and happiness.
and
Those are the 4
happiness.
H's for 2021.
I love it.
And, it's a lot of people that are hopeless right now, just from the financial state of the world, the political state of the world, the health state of the world. So things are falling apart at the seams.
Yeah.
And so, hope is gone. People think it's not going to get better. So that's that as far as health with this whole COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Being a nurse, I'm walking in rooms with COVID patients every day and
every day.
And it's a scary thought, and then with healing, I'm personally healing from the loss of my son, but we're all healing from just this whole pandemic.
From the whole pandemic, right? The racial epidemic that we're also experiencing as well.
And then happiness, finding new norms to create happiness that we want, because we create the life that we want for ourselves.
Exactly. I love that. I love the 4 H's. So I hope y'all wrote that down because it's very relevant right now. And what I see in the midst of all of that is, and even in your story, Chere, is I keep seeing the start again, right? I keep seeing, like you said, if you have to break down, or if you do break down, or if you have a bad day, if you're thinking about what should have been, what could have been, what was supposed to be, then have that moment. But then guess what? Like Chere said, the next day you get up and you start again, and I feel like there's just so much power in start again. We used to, some of us, we look at start again or start over, however you want to frame it. We look at it and we're like, oh, that's terrible, because that means that you're admitting to, failure, or there's shame in that, because you got to do it all over again. But the thing is that every time you start again, there's something different that you're experiencing. And you can look back and say, okay, well, the last time I started again, even for you, Chere, the last time I started again, I could barely get out of the bed. But this time when I started again, I made my way out that bed and I made my way out the door. And that's something to be proud of. That's something, there's power in that, to see the evolution of how every start again is growth.
And the way that you know how to start again, or why to even start, you have to know your whys. So you're talking about my expo. My why for my expo, for even starting my expo then, was the loss of my dad. So now my why for what I do now is the loss of my son. So don't be afraid to shift your why.
Oh, that's so good.
To start over again, to reboot, to recharge, to do whatever it is. So often, we think that we have to stay stuck in this one lane. Yeah, we think we have to stay stuck in this one lane, but we can definitely shift our whys if necessary.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's so powerful to me, and I absolutely love that. So we're gonna shift into our last question, and then we're gonna wrap it up with our rapid fire. Okay. So what do you believe, for our women in business out there and our mompreneurs who, are looking at this, and just anybody who's watching, really, now that we're in 2021, we're all, trying to figure it out, because I would say there's still, like you said, there's still a lot of uncertainty, still a lot of things that, haven't really shifted just yet, but there's still a lot of opportunity that is in 2021 waiting for us. So what would be your one piece, I would say one piece of advice, or one thing that you would just share with anyone out there who is trying to start again, whether it's financially, whether it's new goals, whether it is from loss of someone that they're missing? What would that one piece of advice be?
I would say consistently do things to push yourself and propel yourself forward. Yeah. So if I decided I was just going to lay in that bed and not ever take a step to get out to try to start to heal, then I would not be where I am today. And then tomorrow I'm going to be a little bit better. Every day that you keep pushing yourself, every day you propel yourself to do something just to push yourself a little bit closer to whatever it is you're trying to attain or get to, you'll see the growth, you'll see the progress. And even if you just journal it, you'll see where you were. Because I remember where I was.
I love that. Journaling is powerful. I love that tip.
Where I was 4 months ago. And to look
Yeah.
at where I am now, I'm like, okay, it's getting better. Where I felt hopeless, where I felt like I wasn't going to be able to live through this and I wasn't going to make it. And now I look back and it's like, okay, 4 months has gone by. You're getting a little bit better. You over 50% back to yourself, you know, and you have to just be consistent. You have to be, again, that determination mindset.
Yeah.
Be determined that you're going to make whatever you want to happen for yourself happen. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else can prepare your roadmap. You have to prepare your roadmap.
That's right.
And then make, you know, reasonable, attainable goals and steps to reach whatever it is you're trying to reach.
Exactly. Don't try to, like they say, bite size, bite size.
Yes.
Don't try to, floor it and sprint it out, because that sometimes can be the very thing that is to our detriment. So I love that. I love that. All right. So you ready for this rapid fire, Chere?
The fun part.
All right, so something new that I added for this season, y'all, is 5 questions. I call them rapid fire at the end of each interview with my special guest. Then I'm going to present to them 5 quick questions, rapid fire. It's the first thing that you think of, then you just spout it out, okay?
Already.
And I have to say right now, I'm gonna go ahead and give a disclaimer. Listen, whatever comes out, comes out. Because I ask all my guests to just say whatever comes first, top of mind. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, what do you like to do for fun?
Sing.
Okay. Number 2, what's one stereotype about moms or women that drives you bananas?
That we are not sexy, baby.
Oh, I like that. Who is your BFF in your head?
In my head, Beyonce. Of all that.
I love it. Girl, she my friend too. What do you dream of becoming?
Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, come on, girl, come on.
Definitely a multi-millionaire.
Okay,
that's on the list.
I'm here for it.
And just entrepreneurial mogul.
Yes, I love it. Listen, let's get it. Okay, and last one, favorite song and why?
It's a song by Monifa. A Moment for Me.
Oh.
One moment I think it's called One Moment for Me.
Okay.
Goes, one moment for me, me. So I always talk about self-care. So when we get wrapped up in our roles that we play in life, we oftentimes forget the most important person, the glue, the person that's probably keeping it all together. Right. And so we have to take moments just for me time, just for ourselves. So that's one of my favorite songs that I love to listen to.
And I think that's so applicable for, especially for this audience, moms who are entrepreneurs and women in business. That is like usually not top of mind for us.
Right.
And we just got to get out of that, ladies. Like we can't live in that space no more. It's not conducive for us or the people that we want to pour into, and that we want to pour out abundantly, so I love that. Okay, awesome. So you did good, girl. I love it. So tell people where they can find you. How can they stay connected with you? I know that right now wellness is such a big priority for so many of us as women. So I know they're going to want to stay connected with you and anything that you have to offer our audience as well.
Absolutely. So my website is totalharmonyenterprises.com. If you go on the website, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter, and then you also can do the free recharge assessment. So you can look and see where you need to improve on taking care of yourself, performing self-care, and loving on you. And that you can also reach me on all your social media sites at Chere M. Goode.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. She kept it sweet and simple for you. Okay. Chere M. Goode on everything. Thank you so much, Chere. This was so good. I mean, Girl, like to kick off the year, I just had to have you on here. I wanted you to share your story. Thank you for being authentic and transparent and just always being you, because that always shines through. And thank you all for joining us this first episode of season 2 of the Eventful Life Living Out Loud. Guys, I have so much in store for you this year. So make sure, if you haven't already, to head on over to YouTube, subscribe there, because we drop all of our episodes there, and we also drop additional information about what's coming up. Guys, we got a lot going on, but listen, I want you to stay prosperous, stay healthy, stay happy. And remember, guys, you can have it all just as long as you are willing to have it on your time and your terms. Okay. All right, ladies, we will see you next Thursday for our next episode and another special guest, woman in business or mompreneur. All right, guys, take care.